Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mitch, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to make this video. I can't even contain it in words. And if you know why, then you'll understand. Today, I'm making a retrospective video on the entirety of the MotchSMP. I'm not just talking about the MotchSMP 2.0, where I had a ton of algorithm-worthy moments and a bunch of cool thumbnails. I'm also talking about the original MotchSMP, the thing that started it all. So, strap in, get some food, and make sure to stay hydrated, because this is going to be a long video, and I'm so excited to tell you everything.
In this video, I started a Minecraft SMP.
Episode 1. The beginning of it all. Ground zero, if you want to call it that. This is when anything was possible, and I tried my best to seem like a professional with really nothing to go with besides replay mod and a green screen in Minecraft. A lot of fun stuff happened in this first episode. I managed to introduce pretty much everybody on the server, except for a few that I didn't really play with that much. And, I don't know. There's something special about this first season. I built a house in a divot.
A day before everybody else was supposed to get on.
Jumped off of a natural diving pole to try to do a water bucket clutch and failed miserably. Had early conflicts with Jude trying to break into my house while I was eating.
I'm not in your house.
Yeah, you will be.
And, you know, had some fun.
I don't care how many tools you got. We got the same armor. We'll both do the same damage.
But I'm gonna do more damage than you, though.
Get out!
Then the second episode comes around and completely changes everything. The intro is different, the context is different, and the whole mood is completely shifted from peaceful and funny and wacky to kidnapping, or should I say, dog napping, which I actually like a lot. This is one of my favorite videos of all time, despite the terrible audio quality.
When do you get off the bus?
And the length being less than 10 minutes. It just works. Basically, in this episode, a member of the server named Rachel
Why are you in my house?
steals my bones to tame 3 dogs, and in retaliation, I decided that I wanted to steal her dogs. As a result, Jude and Rachel both try to kill me, and I barter with them to get the bones that I rightfully deserve to have back.
Well, you need to work on getting the bones, and then you can get back to me. How about that? I'm evil, dude. I'm such a devious licker right now.
It was all happening, like, pretty much around the same time during the day. It was like 2 p.m. and then 4 p.m., and I was so excited. I ran downstairs after I had talked to Rachel and Jude the first time, and I told my mom that I had stolen dogs, and I was really excited about it. And they had no idea. That just shows how excited I was for this server and how invested I was. Even though it was such a trivial thing to have to make a video about, it was one of my most high-octane videos. And it ended with me signing a treaty saying that I wouldn't harm Rachel or her dogs ever again.
Right. Mitchell Motch.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
At the end of that video, I walked into the sunset, or I guess moonrise, and made a new base in a jungle, which is where the third episode starts. I started a new life on the MotchSMP. I don't really have much else to say, let's just get into the video. The third episode has a completely different intro as well. I start with nothing, then
I built a redstone sorting system, and I got some netherite armor. Pretty beefy netherite armor.
I made a treehouse, found a axolotl named Freddie Mercury.
I'm gonna name him Freddie Mercury. I don't know, that name naturally came to me. I'm sorry, I don't know why.
I made a secret base in the jungle temple.
Push the button.
No joke, this is exactly how it was posted on YouTube.
Try it again. One more time.
I tried to make it, like, super incognito.
It worked.
Oh my goodness.
And it didn't really help with the story at all because you couldn't see what I was doing. And I had this thing where I would put in the descriptions of the episodes if the members of the server could watch it. I don't know why I didn't do that here, but this thing got destroyed eventually anyway, so in the long term it doesn't mean much. This is Hans. He's a spy, and he's on my side, which is surprising, right? This storyline was between me and Jude. He had a religion where he worshipped a tree named Jesus Christ, and it made an appearance in the first episode. And for some reason, Hans told me that Jude was trying to kill me. Basically, he's been collecting information about Jude, and it turns out he wants to kill me. But at the time, Jude wasn't even trying to kill me, so I don't know where he got that information.
Fun fact, towards the end of the first season, Rachel built this affordable housing place for people to live in, and it actually looks similar to an apartment building I'd build in season 2. Me and someone who I will not name decided to burn this apartment building down and leave a sign that said Perseus was here, and have some kind of terrorist stage name. This will come up later, I promise.
I was making a covert organization known as the Masterminds, which comes up later in the season. And I even say that there's going to be a heist in this video, which gave it away to everybody on the server, but I still did it anyway. And I even called out Jude.
Also, Jude, if you're watching this, I stole all of your golden iron.
Which was such a dramatic thing at the time, but was really trivial, like most of the first season of the MotchSMP. The last 2 episodes of the first season of the MotchSMP refer to the egg heist.
Inside this ender chest, I have the resources to steal the egg from the end by killing the dragon and then respawning the dragon. And then I'll fit all of this stuff, including my armor, into the chest, drop the chest into the void, jump into the void, so then whenever I die, the dragon will still be spawned there, and I'll be able to get back to the overworld with all my stuff. I'll cover up my path to get to the dragon fight and everything, so no one will know that I was there.
This is the first instance where I decided, you know what would be really funny? Stealing the dragon egg on my own server. That would be hilarious. So, the first instance of this is very janky, and there was one thing that I could have done that would have completely eliminated any suspicion of me.
So in the next video, there's gonna be a heist.
Mostly. I make a secret portal inside of my jungle area, so nobody knows that it was me from my base. I use chunk base to find the location of another stronghold which we have not located, because we already have a stronghold that we're ready to go in at this point in the server. So I go to a second one that no one's been in, kill the dragon, leave no blocks suggesting that someone was there, respawn the dragon after forgetting to do it the first time.
Let's go. That was the easiest thing I've ever done. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to hide the egg in an undisclosed location. I'm going to play with the boys on Sunday and actually kill the dragon with them. So I've stored the egg, I've got all the stuff I'm going to put away, and then on Sunday, which will be where we pick up after this, you will see us beat the dragon for the second time. Actually, wait, no! Oh no, I need to respawn the ender dragon. Oh no, oh no. Yep. I forgot to respawn the dragon.
The only thing that prevented me from being completely alleviated of any suspicion was the fact that I didn't get the achievement for entering the end the second time when I went in with everybody.
Despite the fact that Nick saw the end gateway, Jude convinced him that it wasn't there because someone killed the dragon, even though it was.
Otherwise, Jude wouldn't have known that I had been planning to steal the egg and that I had already done it. If my name had shown up with everybody else's and said, Mitchell Motch has made the advancement, the end, there's a good chance he wouldn't have found out. But then again, when he was over at my house with everybody, he did see a paper that I had over at my bedside where it said I had plans to make a video about stealing the egg. So he probably would have found out anyway, but that was around the time where I was like, all right, Jude, get out of here, goodbye, you know? But even then, I called Jude out.
I am now the most powerful person on the server, and I'm a war criminal to Jude's church. I want that. Jude, come get me, buddy.
And he did. I challenged him to a fight in an overly convoluted way that involved a tiny house on my compound in the jungle that had a book in it in the basement that was hidden with redstone. Yeah, I really thought I was cooking with this.
After I had stolen the egg, I immediately ran away. I was attempting to hide myself in secret redstone bases because I anticipated that Jude would hunt me down and stop at nothing to kill me. I anticipated incorrectly because nothing really happened and I had built those bases for nothing. And I even built an obsidian coliseum where we dueled it out in a very unfair way because the night before the fight he lost all of his gear and said he wanted to do the fight anyway. I had max netherite with protection 4 and thorns. He had diamond and iron, and many people suspected that it was not a fair fight. Going into the fight, I had said, if you don't want to do it, we can wait a couple days and you can get your gear back. And he said, no, no, no. We're going to do it. So then I was under the impression that everybody was okay with it. And I killed him very quickly because I had better gear and I had more resources than he did. But even still, Rachel and Hans and my brother watched and commented on it the whole time. We used potions, we used shields, and it went pretty quick. And that marks the end of the first season of the MotchSMP 1.0.
As part of this video, I asked around to anyone who played on either of these servers to see if they wanted to do an interview. Now, I interviewed quite a few people from the second server, but only a couple from the first one. One of those people is Nick.
First of all, just for the record, if you could state your first name and the name you used, the username on the first MotchSMP.
First name, Nick, or Nicholas. And I think my name was Swag Daddy 445 for both of them.
Okay.
Or Chicken Nugget.
So, since you were on both servers, one from 2022 and the one from 2024, I have different questions. I have different questions for both servers, but the basic questions are the same.
Real.
First of all, what were some positive and or negative experiences you had with the first server? Like, just the things that come to mind, anything you can remember.
I think the first server was, I mean, overall, it was pretty positive. I think it got, shoot, I don't remember a lot about the first server. I remember a lot of the positives. It was very, communal. There wasn't a lot of people, not as much as the second Motch SMP, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really know about negatives. I feel like, wasn't there like kind of, oh wait, wasn't there stuff with the egg?
Yeah.
There was kind of like, was that the first one? Is that when that happened?
Well, that happened on both. It was the first instance where I did steal the egg. The whole egg drama kind of picked up and then went down and then picked up again. But I know that even if you don't remember, there's a lot that behind the scenes you did that just may not have made it into videos.
Yeah. The same. I don't remember like a ton from the MotchSMP or the original one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole egg thing was like a good what is it? It's like storyline type of deal. Sorry, I put away my water. I actually found that. My bad. Put this back up. But
Yeah.
Negatives? I don't know. I don't know if there were a lot of like negatives, like bad sides to it. Overall, pretty solid experience. Just kind of like, if I'm remembering this right, I don't think there was just like a lot of people in the first one.
I'm wondering what your opinion was about the end of the first MotchSMP and how that all went down. If you had any thoughts on it at the time, or if you've thought about it recently. I doubt you would have thought about it recently. The way it went down was not all that smooth. I interpreted it completely differently than what was actually happening. And for those of you who don't know who are watching this, Nick was the one who showed me the messages from Jude and Connor about my channel and all that other jazz, but I immediately interpreted it in a malicious way. And also thinking back on it, the fact that Nick was in the group chat talking about it as well, or he said he didn't talk about it, kind of solidifies that. Like, he wouldn't have been involved in something like that, or even been in it and not done anything if it was that bad. I think that I should have thought about that a little more instead of just immediately blowing the steam out. And I didn't get the chance to talk to Connor, if that does happen. I mean, he made it in barely any videos, but he was involved in that drama, of which there was not that much. I feel like that was a learning experience. I definitely grew since then.
Yeah, they're right.
It was way bigger of a deal than it should have been. But I was just curious because I know we were all pretty tight when that happened, I don't know if you had any experience that like you remember vividly enough to bring up, but like if you're saying it was mostly positive, I appreciate that.
If I'm being real here, I honestly don't remember a lot of that. It kind of got shifted back,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I think
that
I was like
was almost
remembering
3
like
years
one
ago.
point of like why it ended. Yeah, I don't remember that back that far. Yeah, it's kind of starting to come back a little bit now. I think like that was that like a direct result, like of anything, like even from the server.
Part of it had to do with the MotchSMP and like the thumbnails. I used a thumbnail with his face in it, and he saw that and thought it was weird, but I'm guessing from that message he didn't take it as like a negative thing because he didn't like reach out to me about it. I don't think that the MotchSMP had a negative impact in that sense, because when they were talking about it, it wasn't just that. It was like all of my videos, even though my videos at that time were mostly Minecraft. But I don't think the end of the server was because of the server. I think it was outside
Yeah, I don't think either.
interference,
I
which
like as you were saying that, like I kind of just like it was all coming back to me. It was
Yeah.
like that.
it didn't work out, and that was actually for the benefit of everybody else, because it helped us all kind of figure out what we wanted to do as individuals, I think, a little more. What do you think was your favorite MotchSMP 1.0 video, if you watched any? I've heard that some people didn't even watch them, but there were 10 videos, technically, 9 videos that were like full length.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you thought of those videos at the time.
I'm pretty sure I did watch a solid amount of them. I don't remember like a lot of them like in detail. I
Yeah.
think there were like more there was like multiple egg war ones, right? Like that was like a multi.
Yeah, there was the egg duel after the egg heist. They were kind of like it's like a parallel name scheme.
I liked the egg heist, I think, out of them. Out of the ones that I can remember, I don't remember like a ton of them, but I do distinctly remember that those ones.
I always say that, I mean, not only my favorite MotchSMP video, but one of my favorite videos of all time was the mass dog napping one. That's just one of my favorite ones. There's a second one, which from the first one to the second one, it was a completely different shift, and I think that I cut it too much, because there was so much I didn't include that I should have, and that's why it was only 6 minutes. If it was like a 10 or 12-minute video, it would have been much more rewarding, I think. But it just ended so quickly because it all happened in like one afternoon, and I just edited together. I think after that episode, things changed in the first season, because I moved away from Spawn and didn't see anybody. The videos weren't even really a server. It was just a survival playthrough at that point until I stole the egg. I kind of, part of me wishes I didn't do that, but I think it was also just like a symbol of what, like, it was real, like what deep down what the server was. I think that us being together was more important until drama and stuff happened. And then when the second season came around, there was everything was against that, because with Geyser and with the version not being up to date because of me, I could have fixed it, but I didn't know that I had to go in manually. It was like offline for a month, so everybody lost interest almost immediately. 90% of the player base dropped. You dropped, Jude and Rachel. Nobody could really get on because of most of the Bedrock players being on the servers. So that was one thing I wish I didn't do, is like completely neglect the fact that Geyser has to be regularly updated. It can't just be like, oh yeah, I put it in and then I have to wait for Minecraft to update for Bedrock, which isn't how it works. I mean, even if that had happened, I don't know how it would have gone. We'll never really know unless we get the gang back together. But I think overall the first server was kind of just an experiment of what I knew how to do with YouTube, what I knew about how to act socially, like, because back then I was not as active with picking up on social cues and behaving appropriately, and reading the room. So I think that was very valuable for me, and I always look back on it fondly, even with the stuff that happened that caused it to end. I'm glad that you have more information that you were able to share, because anything helps. Because I'm really just doing like looking at the videos and what happened and stuff that didn't go in videos, and then stitching it together with interviews from the people on the server. And in this video, I'm going to show you just how much those houses mean. This video marks the
mining for
start of
ancient
season
debris
2.
after I found 32 diamonds with my Fortune 3 pickaxe. I found a total of 9, which is definitely a lot.
in an ancient city while looking for Swift Sneak.
The second season of the MotchSMP 1.0 started in a very
I did this in Minecraft kind of way, because I built 121 dirt houses on the MotchSMP because my friend Mackenzie.
I saw someone named Perseus Mogus your door. How does that make you feel?
He's a new member of the MotchSMP, and he's also living with Jude. But that's not important. I actually built all of these dirt houses for him. When I was messaging him, he was talking about how he was living in a dirt house.
And I misunderstood what he said. I thought he was talking about a dirt house. So I built a huge grid of dirt houses for him to live in. And turns out that he didn't mean that. He just meant a nice little place to live that was dirty, sure, but wasn't made out of dirt, literally. I know. Concrete operational stage right here.
You do not believe in Amogus?
I do not believe in Amogus.
I'm choosing to leave.
Mackenzie and Jude started a country, as I explained earlier, called Mogusville. And Mackenzie and Jude both believe in another deity, Mogus.
I cannot in good conscience live anywhere near someone who does not believe in the great Amogus.
I also got a dog and thought that Jude purposefully killed my dog.
Let me paint you a picture, or get to the point. That's what I paid you to do. Okay then. Red is dead. It rhymes. Did you kill him? Accidentally. How can you accidentally kill a dog?
When I was interrogating him, even though I thought he said sweeping damage, really he said that he was trying to move it and it got suffocated. Because Hans actually typed that and not him. But nonetheless, a lot of stuff happened in this episode that I cut out because I didn't think it was necessary. The main thing to take away was that Jude and Mackenzie had allied up and that I had spent all this time building dirt houses just for Hans to make a dirt castle out of it.
Oh, and it turns out that Hans built a castle with all the dirt that I used to make the dirt houses with. So this whole video was This is me, mining for ancient debris after I found 32 diamonds with my Fortune 3 pickaxe. I found a total of 9, which is definitely a lot for what I'm going to be doing today. Today, I'm attempting to team up with Jude, my greatest enemy on the MotchSMP.
Alright, so here's a plan.
In the second episode, I was focused on teaming up with Jude, who, as we previously mentioned, was not on good terms with me. I focused on getting maxed out armor and a maxed out axe because I had lost it. Because the rules of the server said that we had to start over and we couldn't have any of our gear from the first season. I went to the end, built an Enderman XP farm, and got a bunch of gear. And the video climaxed with me talking to Jude in a VC.
Hello.
I
I know that we've had our differences in the past season, and we didn't end on the greatest terms, but I would like to ask you if you would be interested in any way about joining an alliance.
What would this alliance entail?
Well, I protect you, you protect me, and we can both survey our groups, whether it's your Mogusville, I guess, or whatever I form in the future, and we can rely on each other to, like, if someone steals from me, or if someone takes, like, something from your house, then I can be an assistant in the process of finding whoever did it, as an example.
I don't know. Because I feel like in season 1, I was asking for an alliance, and you not do it. I don't think I need an alliance with you, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
And like I was saying, I mean, season 1 is season 1. Then season 2, we have an opportunity to do different things and act different ways. And I'm trying my best to not steal valuable things from the entire server anymore, because it's not a very very good idea.
I feel like in the interest of my faction, I think we're pretty off well right now. We've got a pretty hidden base.
The base that I showed that was Jude's was not his current base at the time. His base was further away and had much more than what I found.
I think that the allyship would be uneven.
Just wait, so
I
you're
think I would
saying
be
that
providing
you would be
more to
providing for
you
me?
than you would be providing to me. Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for what you have, but that's not 100% true. I mean, I just spent like 3 days straight getting another spare set of netherite armor with perfect enchantments. It's not really, it's more level now than it was last season, but it's not necessarily in your favor in this case.
I don't know. I feel like there's something going on deeper than what you're trying to tell me.
What would I have going on? I mean, I'm alone. I live in a small house, and I don't even have any, like, real property to my name other than the apartment building that I've been constructing for people who want to live somewhere, but there's nothing to me anymore.
No, because I found out about this thing called the Masterminds in season 1, and it's still quite a mystery to me. I still have no idea what it is. All I know is that you're a part of it, and it might not necessarily be too great of an organization.
The Masterminds was a group that I started with Hans and eventually Nick and my brother Matthew. This group was responsible for the plan to steal the egg in the first season, which is crazy to think about because in this context it's been around for a while.
Technically, you were in the group called the Masterminds, and I sent the message. That was actually really funny. In the video where I stole the egg and then we played together at my house, you reacted as if you had never known the plan. So when you saw the end gateway, you pointed that out. But then Jude, for some reason, said that end gateway was already there. It was supposed to be there. Like, that's just how the end worked, which it wasn't, because I had killed the dragon. But I was in there like, what? How does he not know? How does he not know? I sent him the message. I thought that you had known. So it was even funnier when you found out after, when he left, and I messaged you like, hey, I stole the egg, by the way. And you were like, oh, really?
Yeah, I literally had no clue.
The Mastermind's role in Season 2 was keeping track of Jude and Mackenzie with spies. Hans was a spy in Season 1 and Season 2. I think Nick was as well. This was going to culminate in a war between my jungle society that I formed later in the season and Jude's Mogusville. But obviously, that never happened. For right now, all you need to know is it's just a shady, secret organization that doesn't actually do any harm, but does a lot of spying.
I might consider your alliance if you were to give the egg to the public.
So if I were to give the egg to the server, just as a community thing, you would consider the alliance.
All right, so first of all, it's 6 a.m. right now. I have probably 20 minutes until I have to go to school.
For some reason, the audio in this recording was all messed up, so I'm just going to show you that I put the egg on display.
So, the alliance is on?
For sure.
Okay. I promise you now that if anybody steals that egg, they're not gonna get away with it. The video ended with me trying to prove that I could be trustworthy to Jude by putting the egg at spawn in a public area so anyone could see it. And one of the stipulations was that I would protect the egg and I wouldn't let anyone steal it. He decided, in the next episode, to steal it to see if I would notice it was gone. Now, at the time, I was building a secret base in the mountains with my friend Diana, and I didn't look at spawn for almost a week.
While I was building my new base, 500 blocks away from spawn, Jude logged on to a Java account and used it to steal the egg.
The reason this was significant was because at the time, the mod that was allowing Bedrock players to join the server, Geyser, wasn't working.
And it wasn't for his own gain, no. It was just to see if I would notice it was gone.
So Jude really just stole the egg to see if I would hold up my end of the deal.
And then after that, it was kind of rocky. We didn't really talk too much, and things took a sour turn later in the season. In the third episode, I lost all of my gear, and I had to go and get it back again because I died to a warden in an ancient city looking for Swift Sneak, and I was traumatized to the point where years after this I still didn't enter an ancient city until the next MotchSMP, which we'll talk about later. I also mentioned my subreddit, which I don't use anymore, and I spent way too much time trying to get Soul Speed and Swift Sneak. And then the fourth episode was way out of left field.
Okay, let's all just sit down.
I met with everybody in real life with a face mask because I, at the time, still didn't have my identity revealed on Lectum. I hung out with Nick and Hans to little success because the microphone and the camera quality were terrible, as usual. A bunch of silly moments ensued, and it ended the good vibes of the second season of the MotchSMP, I should say.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Bond.
No! No!
Now, you're probably expecting me to go right into the finale of the MotchSMP 1.0, where I talked about how Jude and Connor chatted and gossiped about me behind my back, and how I was so upset, and how now I don't really care because I understand why they did it, and I overreacted way too much back then. So much happened on this server that nobody will ever see. And I think that's ridiculous. But I also think that it's kind of endearing because it shows how much we did in the background. So now, the coveted It's Over video. The video where I discussed Jude and Connor's lying, conniving, scheming bullshit. Because in reality, I was way more mad then than I am now. I still try to talk to them if I can, and even if I can't, I don't hold anything against them. So, Jude and Connor, if you're watching this video, I apologize for what I said. I know that I was an irrational, immature teenager back then, and now I am a less immature, less irrational teenager now, and I hope you can forgive me. So, that's the entirety of the first MotchSMP. A lot of crazy stuff happened. Most of it didn't make it into videos. That's why the videos were so short. It was 10-minute compilations of whatever I could find that was cohesive, and the rest of it got pushed to the sidelines. I can't even put all of the footage into one video because we would be here for literal hours. It would be a 10-hour video instead of a 1-hour video.
Now, with that being said, I have some very exciting news. The same person who I cussed out in a video from 2 years ago is the same person that I'm about to show an interview of to make amends and to clarify anything that happened during this time, from his perspective as well as mine. So, without further ado, here's the interview.
If you could just state your first name and your username that you used while you were on the MotchSMP, just for the record.
Alright, I'm Jude, and I used North Oyster. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. For those who are going to be listening to this in the video, if you've already watched MotchSMP, you know who Jude is, but he was definitely more relevant to the server than some of the other members who I've interviewed so far. First question, what were some of the positive and or negative experiences you had with the MotchSMP? Just the most significant ones. And if there was like anything that like somebody else did or something that I did that caused this, or was there anything that you took away from it? Something you learned or something you gained from it?
I'd say it was just like a nice place to like hang out with friends and stuff, you know? Like I had a fun time just like hanging out in the server a lot. Especially like the earlier days of both the servers. It was pretty cool just like build houses and like explore with my friends and stuff.
All right. You don't have, I mean, I don't want to be prying and like, is there anything negative you can think of? But like, if there's anything at all that you took away that like maybe wasn't so great, I mean, that's okay too. Because I know that it wasn't always sunshine and rainbows, especially between us, and I know that some of the stuff that on both sides wasn't the best, but I think that now things are better. So I'm just interested in what, like, for example, when I was making videos with like you as the subject or you as the main topic, whether it was trying to team up with you to like make an alliance with my greatest enemy, which was really a bunch of satire. It wasn't really like I actually didn't like you, because I didn't want to dislike anybody. But I know that when I posted that video and I had your face as like the forefront, like edited with a different like a different body and stuff, I'm just curious like what you thought of being quite frequently the center of attention on the MotchSMP videos.
You know, I didn't really mind, but I thought it was kind of cool because I was like more involved with the server than like other people, I guess. Like not just like lore wise, but like playing the game itself, I guess. Like I would be on most often.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, that was a good thing with the first server, was that everybody just played, because most of the time we didn't have anything going on in school, so we could just hang out. I actually realized that you have a public subscription feed like setting enabled on your YouTube channel, because I saw on one of the first MotchSMP videos your comment, and I clicked on your profile and it said that you were subscribed to
what was Lectum and is now Motch Gaming, and also the original Motch channel. So I'm curious, what was your favorite MotchSMP video, if you had one? Like, what was one that you liked a lot? Because I know there were a few.
I didn't watch too many of them. I don't use YouTube a lot, is a thing. So I'm not like on YouTube, and I don't like see the videos in like my feed or anything. I did want to like support you, or like your like dream, or like your career, I guess you want to say, like your YouTube channel and stuff. So I just like subscribed to just try to get the algorithm to help out. Honestly, I thought some were really cool because it was kind of like I would see like my perspective, and then I would watch the video and I would see yours. I can't really think of any like specific ones that came to mind. I thought the maybe like the one for like the egg fight, like at the very end. I thought that one was okay. I don't know how to say it. Like I like wasn't like a super huge like watcher. Like I watched some of the videos. I didn't watch like all of them.
Okay.
Because I just wasn't on YouTube a lot, you know.
I
I
understand.
have nothing against your channel.
I know that the specifics of what happened with the end of the MotchSMP, the one that you were on, aren't specifically out. Like, this is exactly everything that happened, and it was a different time. And what was said, I mean, on both sides wasn't really the best, but I don't know, I'm just curious in thinking, like, is there anything that you took away from the MotchSMP once it ended rather abruptly? Because there were some other storylines that I was planning to put out that never saw the light of day until this video is being made in 2024, or actually no, 2025. Oh, it's been almost 3 years. I'm wondering, because I'm making this video partially because I love the MotchSMP. Not just because it's got my name on it, but because of all the experiences I've had. But I'm hearing more and more that it seems like some of the people who played didn't have the same passion for it. People didn't have the same interest in it, and they don't remember as much of it as a result. So I'm interested in seeing your perspective and what you thought about it overall.
Well, I'd say I was less invested than like you would be. Like it wasn't like as big of a thing as it would be like for you, because that was like something you like made videos on. That was like something you really invested in. You
Yeah.
invested a lot of time in it, and I don't know what I like took away from it, but I think it was like just like be like careful what other people think of you and stuff, like, and just make sure like you're treating the people, like your friends and stuff, are like well, like you're not like talking behind their back or anything like that. Like it'd be like just treating people well, I guess. Like when I was like younger and stuff, I didn't do like the greatest job of that. I couldn't like think about it from other people's perspective, and I've kind of grown as a person. I don't know if that's because of the MotchSMP or anything like that, but I think just like in general, like that era in my life, I guess, like I feel like I grew as a person.
That means a lot to me, because because I, at the time, of course, this is very different me. I took it a very different way than I do now, because I saw you and Connor, all that stuff I saw. From my perspective, I was like, okay, they just are gossiping about me. This is weird. I do stuff, and it can be eccentric, but I don't know. Why do they do that? Why? And that ate away at me to the point where I made that video where I said, Jude and Connor are lying bitches, and I hate them, and they're bad. That's not true. That was purely guided by an ignorant, immature, younger me, which I'm sure the same could be said for you or somebody else who might have done that at the time. And it sucks because you look back at it and you're like, well, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. And maybe we shouldn't have. But I think that the result of that was a net positive, because now we're talking and we're not at each other's throats. We're not making fun of each other. We're not talking crap about each other. We respect each other, even if we aren't talking together all the time, and we might see different people now. But I don't know, I just feel like at the time it was such a bigger deal than it is right now when we think about it and we're like, oh, that was weird. I don't know why we did that. And I made this video partially because I wanted to see what other people thought. And I was like, okay, well, I had some loose ends here that I didn't really tie. And I was really worried because from where I left it, I was like, oh, if I were Jude, I wouldn't want to hear anything from this guy, because this guy's probably an asshole. Even though that's not how you reacted, and I do appreciate that, but that's just where my mind goes, because it's running a million miles a minute, and sometimes the bad things overwhelm the good things. Like I think, oh, well, he probably doesn't even care. But purely for the sake of anxiety, it's just something that popped into my mind. Like, well, Jude, I don't know how he feels about me. I can't look inside his head and see exactly what he thinks about me on a daily basis. I was genuinely concerned for a split second until I saw your message when you responded to me that I had messed up permanently and there was nothing I could do. And that's my own fault for thinking that. And I don't know. I thought that what we had going was pretty good. And I also wanted to make this video because there's some people from the server, including you, including Connor, that I haven't really talked to in a very long time. And it makes me sad because when we did play together, I just remember all these fond memories, all of these crazy storylines and events, like stealing Rachel's dogs and having a whole mini war and signing a treaty, all that stuff. That's my favorite video from the MotchSMP and one of my favorite videos of all time. But I just feel like things were different, and I think that we were enabled to be different back then. And I hope that making this video, I can get a different perspective than what I had when I was 2 years younger, and I just thought that, oh, they must purely hate me and be blaspheming all this stuff, and they're just sycophants. When really, we're all just teenagers, and we're all just trying to figure ourselves out. So, I thank you for taking the time out of your day to answer these questions, and I'm glad I was able to get some insight into how you were feeling back then, and how, in reality, it might not have been as big of a deal as I thought it was when I first made that video. And I'm very grateful for it. So I thank you for that. I look back at all that, and it's like, they say that there's a link between generosity and guilt, and I feel a lot of guilt for what I said, and I hope that puts it into perspective a little bit, because I know that if I were you and I was like back then 2 years ago, I would have reacted in a completely different way than you did, and I appreciate you. I applaud you for not taking it that seriously, because I really didn't mean it. I was overreacting a little bit. There were some bridges that I burned, and I was like, I don't know if I want to build some of these again. Some of these I know I don't want to bring back, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't leave it in a place that I would regret. So, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I think part of it was also when that happened, like with the second MotchSMP. It was less of like a gossip and more of like just like a teasing almost, which I can also see where you would have seen something like that, and that's where I kind of talked about the misunderstanding a little bit, and I can see the way that you reacted, and I can understand that. And when you reacted the way you did, I was never like upset. Like I never like felt the need to forgive you because you had never made me upset in the first place. You know, it was never like a huge thing to me, because like, not to say that you weren't a huge deal. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like, you were a big friend to me like a while ago.
Right.
And it was like a big part of like my person, I guess. But like the way you reacted, I felt the way you were seeing it, it was justified. You know, like the way you were seeing it, it was that me and Connor were all gossiping about you and talking bad, when really that wasn't what I was trying to get at. It was just more of like a teasing, poking fun kind of thing. But I can see what you saw there, and if I had seen that same thing, I probably would have made the same like decision and reaction that you did, and I want to apologize for that. So
Yeah, that puts it into perspective, because back then I was much more literal and much more visibly neurodivergent, and it showed because I took it purely at face value and didn't even think for a second, maybe they're just joking, maybe it's just silly, maybe they just don't mean it that much, maybe it's just, and it means nothing, maybe that's what it is. Instead, I immediately went to my previous experience with stuff like that and thought about, okay, well, if they're saying this stuff, they probably are just jealous or blah blah blah, and whatever happened. And it wasn't that way. And I'm glad I got that information, because up until this point I really had no idea. I really didn't know that it was just poking fun, and that brings me peace, because I
I was worried that by making this video, I would be putting you or whoever in a situation that wasn't viable. And I'm glad that it wasn't meant to be malicious. It was just purely in the sense of joking. And that really helps me out. So thank you again for spending the time and giving the information that you did, because it'll change everything. I think I didn't know a lot of that. Like, even when I would make future videos and look back at my experiences with Rachel that weren't so great, and my experience with you guys, and like I said, I don't really hold anything against them, even though they blah blah blah, even though they did this and said that. I was still thinking in the context of like, oh, they probably still said that stuff maliciously, and that was wrong. So and I don't think that, I hate to say that you don't have to apologize, because there's a lot of if I were you on both sides here. I don't think, if I saw some guy who I was friends with just suddenly making videos and like using my face in a thumbnail that clearly took a lot of time to edit because it was like high fidelity, it looked like it matched with everything, like, I'd be a little weirded out. I would be a little confused. I would be put off by it. So the fact that you weren't as put off by it and it was just a joke, it wasn't really serious, that makes me even happier, because I really didn't think of that. Even now, I didn't think of that. I really appreciate your input, and it's really going to help not only between us, because I really needed that, but also with this video, which is really just taking a deep dive into this server that had so many different outcomes, for me mostly, but also for you guys. And that's what I really want to investigate, because like I said, I can't just look into Jude's head or look into Connor's head or look into Nick's head and be like, oh, what were they thinking 2 years ago? Because chances are most of the people don't even remember. I almost feel like, why don't they remember? Instead of thinking for a second, well, this was the server I made, that I ran, that I played on most frequently. Maybe I have a little bias here. I made it and I ran it and it was my name. So of course I'm going to have way more information about it than everybody else. And I'm glad that you remember enough about it and remember how you thought about it and didn't just like brush it off and completely forget it, because I don't think that that's the healthiest thing to do otherwise. I don't think that just ignoring it and leaving it there is the right thing to do. Yeah, that's really all I've got for you. I hope that this video does the SMP justice, because the first one that you guys were on, oh, it was a wild ride. I just want you to know that time meant a lot to me, and I'm glad that I got some actual feedback here, and I didn't just get like, well, I don't remember a lot of it. I joined like late into the server. I don't really remember. I appreciate it. It really means a lot to me.
No problem.
This first server was incredible. There were so many highs and lows. It was such a dramatic server when really it was just a bunch of friends playing together. Now with that out of the way, we can talk about the second MotchSMP. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot to talk about in this segment of the video. And I also should explain that when I did those original cut-ins during the MotchSMP 2.0, when I thought I didn't have enough time to make a video before 2025, I explained a lot of what happened in those episodes. So for those videos, I'll just play that part instead, because it's more convenient that way for me. I'm running out of time here. Speaking of time, so much time has passed since I started making this video that my hair got shorter. I don't know how that makes any sense, but hope you guys like it. I really do. Anyways, yeah, let's just get started with the MotchSMP 2.0. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Episode 1 is like the new creation, right? Obviously. It's a new server, anything can happen, nothing is expected, it's very wild. And you can tell from the first few minutes when me and Mysterium joined for the first time, and we're really struggling just to get a bed. We eventually settled on a treehouse, and this was probably one of my favorite builds, despite how ugly it was. I really did like it, and me and Mysterium were really proud of it. My brother also joined, and he immediately got involved with Mysterium and teaming up to kill me because they're children. What did I expect? And it was all for fun, you know, everything was really not that serious in the first episode. We were really just having a good time, and I'm really happy about how it turned out. But then we get to this part right here,
Mysterium spams some stuff in the chests. Okay, Mysterium, what did I say about spamming the chest with nothing but nonsense? I got killed by Mysterium and Matthew. I got blown up while trying to save Mysterium, and Matthew left. Oh my god! Mysterium placed dirt that sounded like cobblestone. What are you doing?
I'm committing suicide.
I killed Mysterium for sugarcane that didn't exist.
You asked for it now.
I got sugarcane while Mysterium laughs mischievously. I needed an egg for pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. How do you make pumpkin pie? An egg! For a second, it was the Australian MotchSMP.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's kind of hilarious.
It's kind of funny, guys. I got a dog. I found a cave that looked like a chunk error. Holy macaroni, that looks like a chunk error, but it's really a cave. I was searching for sheep, and I found sheep shortly after singing Starman by David Bowie. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'll blow our minds. I killed a sheep that I had already sheared, thinking that he would give me wool, and he didn't. Damn it, he doesn't drop wool when you kill him. Mysterium made a modern art piece in the house. I am in the mood for this, though.
That sucks.
And Mysterium hid the bed. I gunned down Mysterium on the ladder, and my dog had no eyes for a second because my resource pack was out of date. Oh my god, my dog has no eyes. I smelted some glass, constructed some house walls. My dog got pushed down the ladder.
Goodbye, doggy.
Mysterium sings with the dog in the boat in the house.
For no reason. It's just baboonery.
I collected some leaves, continued the roof, and broke my shears, and I drowned looking for iron in a water cave to make new shears.
You're like swimming. Hold up. I'm sending you a picture of this.
What has happened? I finished the roof. We dug straight down, and Mysterium died several times during this. You know there's a torch here, right? We found a mine shaft. Oh shit, a mine shafter. I found a spider spawner. Mysterium found diamond, which was nice. I smelted some iron. And finally, I found a huge cave, went down, died, and got my stuff back, and returned to the surface with my diamonds. Hopefully that wasn't too tedious. I'm sure I added some funny music or something. And then by the end of the episode, it kind of dies down. I cut to later in the server. And by later, I mean maybe a couple days. And I meet Camren, a friend of mine who I let join the server. And he's a really chill guy, you know? He's a super chill guy. And I really like talking to him. He's got a lot of interesting stuff that he does. He makes covers for music with Minecraft no-block conversions. Like he'll just go in and recreate the music with sheet music and stuff, and post it on his YouTube channel. You guys gotta check it out, by the way, because the outro music from the MotchSMP 2.0 finale was his cover. Techity, right here, MM2 Tech, wherever you find him, he's on YouTube. Check him out. Anyways, I bring this up because I actually got the chance to interview him, and I'll play that now.
Ooh, it's all serious. Ooh, I'm Camren, and I went by Techity.
All right.
I think.
First question I have, when did you first join or hear about the MotchSMP?
What would April have been?
April?
So that's the next link.
April 2nd is the day of the recording of the first episode, so it actually it would have been April 4th. Next question, did you have any negative experiences with the MotchSMP?
Other than my own goofing that made me not want to play anymore because I goofed too hard, no.
And was there anything that you took away from whatever negative experience you had? Anything that you learned?
I need to continue with the Big Bamboo project because that was the one thing I felt like doing on that server anymore.
Okay. What was your favorite MotchSMP video? I'm just curious to see what people thought about the server while it was on YouTube.
I mean, you're pretty alright, but I think there was one of Brad's that I saw, and that one was okay too. Generally, the small YouTube and not highly edited is what I like. Mainly for you is because, this guy's my friend, so.
And then the final question I have for you today, what is your fondest memory of the MotchSMP? Or favorite person or favorite thing that happened, just anything that you remember from the server that you liked.
I mean, I'd say it was that event, whatever it was called.
The Motch games?
But then I also didn't really like it.
I think that was a common sentiment.
The stuff with Michael.
Alright. He kind of came in second half of the server and did a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to see what we do with the next season.
Pretty chill guy.
He's a pretty chill Bill. I want you to look at these interviews a little differently because some of them are people you've seen before, some of them are people that are completely new, and I'm only bringing them into the picture when I bring them up naturally in a conversation about the server because there was a lot of people that played over the time that we had the server on. The first episode comes to a close. Where do we go from here? I mean, it's a pretty chill server, you know, maybe it'll get a few views. Oh shit. Mine. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't really know where to start with this video, so I think it's a good idea to go back to the beginning. So, the second episode comes out of nowhere, right? And I know I just said this about the MotchSMP 1.0, but the second episode of this series is incredible. It's probably my favorite episode of all time. Despite the cut-ins and all of the unnecessary removal of vital content that I needed for this video, it was still one of my most favorite videos of all time. And I'll tell you why. There's probably 3 factors that make this video my favorite of the server. The first factor is the premise. Now, for those of you who remember earlier in this video, I talked about how I stole the dragon egg on my own server. The second episode starts with me stealing the dragon egg. That's the first thing we do. As soon as we fade in, we see me stealing the dragon egg. We don't know who the people are in the end. We don't know how I even got there. And then I cut with this beautiful VHS thing that I have back here and show a rewind to the very beginning of the episode and have the title card. And oh my God, Left Hand Free was a perfect pick for this. The only reason I'm upset is because, well, it got copyright claimed. And in the remasters that I did, I actually replaced it and it's still very good too. It fits the vibe just about the same. And it's royalty free. I'm on the server with 2 new members, Bradix and Daphne. Now, I don't know who either of them are at this point. I just let them in because, as previously demonstrated, the first episode did pretty damn well. And some people who this video was recommended to wanted to join the server. And 2 of those people are Bradix and Daphne. Now, Bradix, I had no clue who this guy was. I searched up his channel and he looked like a pretty crazy guy. I mean, he did a lot of Minecraft stuff and a lot of it was PvP. So I was like, I guess I hope he doesn't kill me, right? The first 3 minutes of the video is just getting caught up to that point at the intro. And then after that, I cut in. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. Wow, Mitch finished this video really quick. He only took 3 minutes to get the egg. And I'm thinking that too, because I'm editing this video, and I still have like 23 minutes left of this recording, and I have, let me see, 79 gigabytes of footage in total for this episode. And you guys said you wanted 25-minute videos of this server. So, here's my plan. The first thing I'm going to do is show you something that scared me. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so basically, guys, I'm going to get Daphne out of the void in the end because she died, or she almost died, and she wants me to save her. So I'm saving her. I'm unsure what's going to happen after I do this. I don't know if they're going to like me or not. I don't know if they're going to try to kill me for the egg. All these questions and no answers, but what I do know is that Brad's going to VC with me. I haven't talked to him at all, so I'm going to give him VC. This is probably one of my favorite edits I've ever done. Despite the fact that I just cut in there, I leave it completely silent when I meet Brad. No music, no sound effects, just the echoey sound effects remastered mod playing through the cave that I'm going in the stronghold while I'm talking to Brad. This is a very scary moment for me. Watching it back just gives me PTSD because the second factor that played a huge role in this episode in making it perfect was Brad.
So what's your gear? What's your gear like?
I've got full diamond. I don't know if you guys saw me. I was in the end with you guys when you were fighting the dragon.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know if you guys even noticed I was there, but I was trying to help you out.
Yeah. Well, to me, you stole something of mine, so I will need that back at some point.
And just so we're talking about the same thing?
Yeah, the egg.
Brad is a man of very specific tastes. He likes violence, PvP, strategy, and plotting against people.
Before I could even get to the end, before I even made it to the stronghold, I talked with Brad for the first time.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my goodness. How are you?
Yeah, as you can see by my gear, I did take it a little bit personally.
He's basically ready to kill me as soon as he gets there with full netherite armor.
I was trying to get to the end first before we settle this.
Okay.
So, me, shitting my pants in the moment, decide to keep looking for the stronghold portal. I was actually fearing for my life, but I was playing it really cool because I'm that kind of a guy. That segment of the video ends with him threatening me, essentially.
I'll give you about 2 days to make a decision about the egg. If not, I will have to do something about it. So,
you know, typical British evil. And then, I spend 16 hours over 2 days grinding my ass off, maxing out my base, maxing out my gear, getting everything ready so that if he attacks me, he won't even know what hit him. Second to getting netherite because I wasn't gonna do all of that. So then the 2 days go by and he's not trying to kill me. So I assume he either forgot about it or he's ignoring me or he's busy. So then a week or two goes by and we're starting the election of the MotchSMP and deciding our leader and having campaigns and videos and slideshows and all kinds of slogans and speeches at basically the center of Spawn. Essentially, I'm very vulnerable in this moment.
Oh my gosh, it's Brad.
And right when I least expect it, Brad logs on.
Yo, how's it going, man?
hey, how have you been?
Good, how are you?
I'm alright. I've been doing good. You probably know why I'm here, right?
Did I borrow your sugar and not give it back? I'm sorry, I have some up there.
I'm here for the dragon egg.
Oh.
I gave you 2 days, but I was kind of busy and I didn't catch you online. So.
Oh, right, that old thing. Are you sure that you don't want to that you don't think there's another way to settle this?
I mean, you can rather give it to me now, or I can kill you.
That doesn't make sense. Well, we were in the middle of something.
Right there, so.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. We were in the middle of something here. We were kind of having an election, so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know.
Well, what is your decision then?
If you give me 1 second, I'm gonna go get some from up there. I'll be right with you.
Okay.
Now, in my video, when I went to go up to my house, I immediately potted up thinking I could fight him. And he actually hears me potting. He hears me getting ready to fight him. But then he just goes back down because he's a good sport. So then I'm down there ready to fly away. Don't have my chest plate on, by the way.
I'm not gonna give you the egg. I'm just gonna be honest with you right now.
He pulls out a respawn anchor. Boom! I'm dead in one shot. I had no idea what he was going to do. I saw it in his inventory and thought nothing of it, didn't even put my shield up, nothing. I was not prepared for it. That is the scariest part about Brad, is that he will have some crazy trick up his sleeve that you will never expect. And that's the same for servers I'm on with him now, for better or worse. During the MotchSMP 2.0, especially this episode, he is a force to be reckoned with. Oh gosh. So then back and forth happens, the campaigns are going on still, so I'm trying to balance that with the fact that I lost all my stuff and I have to get it back. Then Brad kills me a couple times, I get my stuff back, then he tries to kill me again, I escape to my base, or so I thought, and then, right as I'm trying to help Daphne figure out how to message people, Brad kills me at my base. Oh shit, he knows where I am, he knows where my base is, this is not gonna work out. So after this, I'm under the impression that he destroyed my base, he knows where I am, so I have to leave and get new villagers, because he probably put lava on them and killed them all. I'm ready to accept defeat at this point. And then, I talked to Daphne.
Basically, he gave me a book that said that he declared war on me and that he would not stop killing me until I gave him the egg. And then he killed me. Or tried to kill me.
Wait, then why don't you give him the egg? I mean,
because
we
I'm
were
very
at the end first, so...
Yeah, but it's finders keepers. That's how I go about a lot of things in this game. And so...
Okay, then I will boom boom everything.
Well, don't do that. That's unnecessary. You're gonna make it less probable that I'll give you the egg if you're gonna blow up my house. That's my way of seeing it. So if you really want me to give you guys the egg, you shouldn't blow up my house. That's the first step. Because I
Then
spent
how do we get the egg?
Well, I'd like some of my stuff back to be repaid because I don't have any.
What
I'm sure
stuff?
Brad. Well,
Tell
all the
me and
stuff.
I will
Well,
give it to you.
Daphne, you
well,
should look into car bombing.
I had full diamond. I had an elytra.
I had full, like I had all enchanted
that
tools.
Elytra. He gave me a second one. Maybe that's yours. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry, you're
so-
not getting it back. I
So
want to
he
keep
killed me
it.
for all his stuff. The only way I would even consider giving the egg back is if you guys were willing to return to me some of the items, or hopefully all of the items that I lost through this conflict.
I can give you the diamond armor.
Something tells me that he killed all the villagers in my village, and I spent like 16 hours getting all of them, so it's a little bit of a
No,
bummer,
but I think I know where your base is at.
Well, yeah, it's probably destroyed now. He's probably burned every villager.
No,
there.
no,
Like,
we didn't touch it.
if the villagers are alive, I'll have to fact check this, but if they're alive, then I will definitely
Yes,
be more likely
they're
to
alive. We
consider.
just went there.
If that's the case, then, I mean, I think we can definitely diffuse this in
Yeah,
a more calm
just
way.
give me a book with all of the things that you need.
A diamond chest plate, a diamond helmet, diamond pants, diamond boots, a diamond sword, a diamond axe, a diamond pickaxe, access to villagers, either at the base that I showed in this video or at theirs if mine are dead, a promise to not burn down my house near spawn that I spent a long time on, netherite upgrades, and 32 golden carrots. Alright, this is all I need.
Okay, thank you.
So I negotiate with Daphne and get her to let me have my stuff back if I promise to give them the egg or whatever, or just to get me to consider giving the egg back. I told Brad, hey, if this were the first MotchSMP, I would have just went with you to the end of the line fighting for the egg, but I'd rather just compromise because I'm sick and tired of it. And we eventually reached a deal. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So, you're probably wondering why I asked to talk to you.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a proposition for you. I have a couple options, because I'm gonna be honest, the first time I stole the egg, I had a lot of patience. I had a lot of time on my hands to grind and get gear in case I died. I'm not in that same state in this server. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the election and the goofiness in general. I just don't have the same spirit to grind for another 16 hours to get maxed diamond again to try to even put up with your max netherite because I know you're ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I have a couple options for you. Option number one. As you know, you got to the end first. I know that. I will not discredit you on that. You and Daphne were there first. I got there after. But we both were fighting the dragon. It wasn't just you guys. It wasn't just me. We both played a part in fighting the dragon. You guys definitely were there first. You got more damage. But I
did get the last hit on it as
Yes.
well. I got the achievement.
Yes, that is true. What I'm trying to say is we both contributed to the death of the Ender Dragon. We were both there. And you definitely did more than me. But I definitely did some as well. So, option number one. We share custody of the egg. I get it sometimes. You get it a little more than me because you guys did more than me. And overall, we can just share it and everyone's happy. Option two, if you don't like option one, I gave Daphne a list of stuff. If you want the egg all to yourself, I would just need the stuff on that list. For option two, that would be my requirements for me to give up the egg.
I personally do not mind option one. I will do that.
So if you're good with option one, I would say I don't want anything in return, but I would like at least my like full diamond back because I did lose all that when you killed me. And if you would be willing to give me some spare netherite, I would appreciate it. Daphne already gave me a netherite upgrade. If you would be willing to give me stuff,
netherite ingots if you would like that.
That would be greatly appreciated. I'm glad we could come to an agreement on this because I respect you as a fighter, as strategist. I know that you definitely knew where my base was, which is why you were there so fast. And
yep.
I'd like to be allies with you because I think that you are a definite asset.
Did I have the egg?
Oh, right. Sorry. I forgot about that part. Okay. At the end of the video that he posted about this, he said,
as I hold the egg, I realized that there are other ways to solve things than just murdering.
When I saw that, my jaw dropped to the floor. This whole server so far, he's been nothing but violent. And then I post a video, and he posts a video, and we see each other trying to understand each other here and compromise. And he becomes more of a pacifist than he was at the start of the server. I was over the moon, bro. I literally was jumping for joy when I saw that because I just changed a man for the better. The best part, and this reflects the difference between the two servers really well, is at the end of the second episode, I was planning potentially to trap him and kill him. definitely.
But I didn't. By the time we're done negotiating, he says,
I was expecting somewhere to be a trap. I thought you, when you asked me to call, I thought you were good about to trap me. Like you had a trap somewhere.
So last night, after you killed me all those times, I spent a solid
and then it cuts to black and it's a beautiful ending. I love this video. The third, I didn't actually mention the third reason, that cliffhanger. Because that comedy mixed with fear and dread and uncertainty, it makes that video so much better. It's different than the second episode of the first MotchSMP because, well, it's just different. Like, I don't know how to describe it. The energy is different. The people are completely different. This is a stranger versus like one of my best friends, you know? I think it's really interesting to look at psychologically what I was thinking during the two servers. Each approach is different, but nuanced in its own way, and I'm really proud of myself. The second episode ends really nicely and wraps up pretty neatly. But then the question arises, what about that whole election thing that was happening in the background? What about that? When are we gonna hear about that? And that is what the third episode is for.
What is the rarity of the ominous trial vault music disc? 7.5% chance. Oh boy.
And when I say that's what the third episode's for, I mean that and 3 other things. Because this episode is a compilation episode. I stuffed 4 separate subjects into one video with a lot of cutting. I try my best to make a cohesive story around it. Because they're shot at different times, some are before, and they're further ahead in the video than the earlier parts. It doesn't make any sense, but it's entertaining, I'll tell you that. And I already have my reservations about the cut-ins that I've done, because they are really just shit. But I digress. The first part of the third episode is me and Brad kissing and making up after the dragon fight, after the egg fights that we had, and then going to a trial chamber, which at the time was brand new. 1.21 just came out, he had a mace, and it was really cool. So this clip here is demonstrating what me and Brad thought the new update entailed, which was looking at the vault and seeing what item it showed in the preview, and then timing it just right, so then you could get that item as your first item that comes out of the vault, you know? Obviously, this is not true, and we didn't know this because we were really hoping that we could get some music discs and some mace stuff, and we spent a lot of time waiting for that to happen. It ends way too short. And I'm going to take this moment right now because I said I wouldn't talk about the remasters, but I want to tell you this right now. I have a separate channel called Motch Remastered, which is basically my director's cut channel. I want you to go down there right now if you're interested in this server and check out those videos. There's 7 of them in this server, and I remastered every single one. Everything from the 3rd to the 7th is brand new. For the most part, there's stuff in there that was never included in any video. Now, sorry for the advertising, I just had to tell you because if I were watching those videos and I saw that for the second time, I'd be like, why am I watching this again? I already got it explained to me. I'd rather watch it for fully uncut for the most part, by comparison, and explore it. So check it out. But third episode.
It flicked to arrows. I saw it flick to arrows on the last flame.
That's so weird. I don't, this is rigged. I'm not doing this anymore.
The second part is the election. Because, well, that's what we were looking for, right? What happened at the election? And I'll let past me cut in again because, yeah, it's getting late.
So the first poll we ran was me, Hans, Brad, Cam, Jacob, and Garrett. That's 6 candidates, which is a lot. And eventually, through process of elimination, we got it down to just 3. Me, Brad, and Garrett. Now, at this time, I didn't want Brad to win because, well, let's just say that his campaign ads were not very reassuring.
If I'm not elected, you will regret this in the end.
Now, of course, I also made campaign ads. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitch, and I'm running for president of the MotchSMP. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know who I am, but I'm here to tell you something. And Garrett didn't do a video, but he did do a slideshow, and I thought that was actually pretty creative. Now, after a little bit more, we got it down to 2 people, just Brad and Garrett. And it was getting very close. I was actually worried Brad was going to win, but then more people joined the server, and then,
we actually had Garrett in the lead. And of course, in the end, Garrett won. And then he had his speech at Spawn, which I'll play for you in full now.
My fellow MotchSMPians, I thank you for electing me on this fine day. Now, there are going to be many great things that will come from my election. I will make sure no bad deeds will be done in Spawn. Honestly though, I don't care if you do that anywhere else. It's too much work to keep up with that. So, my Secret Service members at the moment are Nick and Motch Mitchell. But I would like more, because more numbers is more power. And you know, that's what—
Sir, get down!
Oh my god! That's what ruling a democracy is all about, is power. I mean, well, democracy. By that I mean dictatorship. But I would like more, especially Brad could be my Secret Service because he's very powerful. And, you know, that's all it's about, is power, you know? Keeping the power balance. It's a delicate balance. Exactly.
It's all things
And, you know, I'm looking forward to working with everybody. Putting some people in jail. That's my favorite part about all of this. And that's kind of everything I wanted to say. So, peace.
Yeah, this baby said that they don't got a future like
The third part of this video is about Flickshot. Now, if you're wondering who Flickshot is, based on just the couple minutes he was in my video, I really made a mistake with Flickshot. Now, I don't regret it, and maybe that's on me. Maybe I'm too gullible. Maybe I'm naive, or maybe I just love people. But, not really. When I say that when we first met, I thought we were separated at birth, I mean it. Because he has such a very childish energy that isn't annoying. I mean, it was for some people. But for me, it was so refreshing because he wasn't trying to kill anybody. He was just trying to have a good time with his zombie skin that he had that he made into a whole inner lore about himself. It was really fun. And he actually was getting involved with the end of the server. Eventually, one way or another. I gotta go eat dinner, but it was fun meeting you, Flick. It was fun protecting you in a cave. I will talk to you all later.
Alright, bye-bye.
Nice. It's a crime that I didn't include more of this terrifying experience I had with Daphne, but at the same time, I think it was just enough for you to understand how chaotic she was, especially at the end when I cut in using a Minecraft green screen instead of a real-life green screen and made it like animated with the resource packs I had. It was crazy. She spawned like 7 wardens over the span of 20 minutes. And yeah, it's safe to say she was insane, or at least she was just trying to have a good time in her own way. Some of the people involved in the election were kind of crazy, but I did get the chance to interview some of them. Obviously, I interviewed Cam. I also interviewed McLaughlin.
My name's Jacob, and I am McLaughlin guy.
I want you to go through your positive and negative experiences on the MotchSMP, and like what the highlights and the high and low points were.
Well, oh god, I'm trying to remember. Honestly, like off the top of my head, I remember kind of just like basing around with you guys around that spawn area, kind of hanging with you. We did some stuff in the Nether, I think, and then we did that whole Deep Dark thing. Some of the things there were fun. Definitely had some fun shenanigans when we went out, did the new stuff. I actually got some resources, and that was fun, kind of hanging out with people. I'd say the negatives is the Deep Dark thing was really hectic. That's the most memorable thing, honestly. Yeah. The whole server got griefed. That probably wasn't great.
Yeah.
The Motch Games thing was a bit.
Yeah.
The organization was not entirely there. Also, Cam got really mad at me once for something. I forget even what I did, but then he killed me and I didn't get my stuff back for a while. I think that was on me, but I'm still gonna bitch about it. I showed up in the second episode, right? Oh, right, I was gonna be your ally, right?
Yeah.
Was doing that? Yeah, Brad was
Brad threatened me with war, and then I went to VC with you, and
I had
then
this whole plan. You ruined it by making peace. I had this whole plan, man.
I actually think I have it. What do you think was your favorite MotchSMP video? It could be one of Brad's, it could be mine.
The first one I was in, because that one was that one was pretty fun. I just started with the whole egg thing. We had the whole election arc too. I remember that. That one also made Camren really mad. Honestly, it seems like half the things I did just served to make Camren really mad. Yeah, that I still play games with Nintendo, so we're chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're chill. And then the Deep Dark one that had a lot of me and it was really well edited. But like, if actually playing that, it's completely different. It was a completely different experience from what you actually see on the screen on the finished product. It felt completely different than what was portrayed on YouTube. Like, there's so much stuff that was like left out. There was so much of that just dying over and over again, and just
Yeah.
respawning in that one bed in that dark room, and like I literally couldn't get out and kept teleporting. Yeah, but it was way more hectic than the fancy editing made it out to.
Yeah, I tried my best with that video because I was under the impression that I wasn't gonna be able to get it out in time. So the one thing I didn't like that I noticed a lot as I kept making the videos is that I feel like I over-explained things. I feel like I cut in with a green screen and was like, hey, this is what happened, because I wanted the video to be shorter. I feel like I did that too much because the story itself had enough weight to be carried without extra voiceover, but I felt like I had to explain it. And I don't know, when I look back at it, especially the Motch games video, when I look at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, every 5 minutes I'm explaining how the game went and not actually letting it play out. And if I were to do it again, I would probably do it differently.
You guys should sub, by the way. I got 500 subs. I'm looking for more.
Yeah.
I don't ever post anything. I think my last thing was a Geometry Dash completion video, but hey, I'm good for it. I'm good at it. So.
Is there anything else that like you took away from the MotchSMP that like you found particularly interesting, or something or someone that like was significant?
I don't know. It was interesting because there's a lot of people there who I like didn't know in real life, and a lot of people like it was a lot of activity, but it was also a lot of like, it was different than my normal experience, because usually me and my friends, we just have some servers and like we do them for like a week or so and then they peter out. But this was nice because you actually had like a lot of active people and there was a lot of stuff to do. So I definitely say I'd compliment the activity on the server. Like when it was at its peak, it was like pretty neat and it was a pretty fun thing to do. But I'd say overall, not much to say. I mean, like, yeah, we had some fun times, and we just had some shenanigans, you know?
So let's move on to the 4th episode.
Let's go! The video itself is titled, "We Killed the Dragon 20 Times." But the real meaning of the video was the friends I made along the way. Because at the beginning of the server, me and Brad were polar opposite enemies, like immovable force, unstoppable object, you know? But by the end of the server, we were best friends. And I still applaud Brad to this day. On this server, he was like a beacon of light, you know? Not to everybody, obviously. He still killed some people, but he was overall changing his ways and helping me when I log onto the server every day just to see him. And especially getting late into the summer, that was all I did, was play this server, because he was in a completely different country where the time zones were different. But it worked out perfectly, because if I got on at 10, he would be on at 5. So this episode starts with the start of our relationship, and it's pretty telling because it shows exactly what happened, his motivations, and then it cuts forward months later and talks about our plans to resummon the dragon. And some general antics ensue. Brad kills the dragon with a mace, I kill the dragon with a mace, Cam tries to kill the dragon with a mace and then loses the mace. All this stuff happens in a short amount of time, and it's to the point where we run out of end crystals, Brad has to go, and I have to finish it all myself. And that's the less interesting part that I cut out for the sake of that video. And I'm not going to show this part here with me in the purple shirt, which is thematically relevant for, for the dragon fights. I'm just going to talk about it here. Me and Brad are an incredible duo. We complement each other so well, and despite what he may be doing on servers that I will not discuss, the MotchSMP changed me and changed him. And the videos he made inspired me to work harder, and they still do. And I am so grateful for him, because this server is not the same without Bradix. The server is not the same without this blonde British bloke that just caused chaos and also caused a lot of love. I really think that he's a cool guy, and I love him, I care about him, and I really would vouch for him most of the time.
I go on the application and then I do it. I didn't actually expect to get accepted. I was after you. My plans was to full kill you that day if you had gear, which you didn't. So I gave you them 2 days. We started chatting, and then you was like, well, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to give you the egg. And then I opened my inventory, and you can see this in the video, and your video in fact. I actually accidentally put my respawn anchors in my hand. You had your ledger on, you had your shield. So I was thinking, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And then I blew you up. I really didn't think that was gonna, well, work. Honestly, turned out perfectly because that scene was amazing. This is probably one of my favorite scenes ever. When you called me, obviously, the bit faced black, and then we'd start going on about, oh, I thought you was gonna trap me, and I thought I was going to plan a trap, but then I was like, but what if he actually gives me the egg? And when that all pans out, I get the egg. I was thinking, what if I just kept it? What if I generally just kept it? What do I do? Do I just keep the egg? Do I keep the egg? And eventually I was like, you know what? No, I don't keep the egg. And we eventually share it. My thought process on that was just, if I share the egg, it will, well, hopefully spiral into something better. If I go into any other war, you could help me, but it didn't happen because, well, time zones and schedules. I was hoping to have a friend, a teammate. What if I didn't give you the end chords? Maybe it could have panned out better, but that portal you found in the Nether to begin with was just a dead giveaway where we were. So like, maybe you would have just found us anyway. I think it would have been more interesting, because then you could have been like, I gotta find them. I gotta find them now before they steal the egg. I did think as well, if I got the egg first, there wouldn't be a war, because the thing that was going through my head was like, if I get this egg, there won't be a war because, well, I want the egg. And if I have it, I won't need to fight for it.
So the second episode was like big. I mean, the first episode was like, this is getting the server out there to people. Introduces Brad to the server, which is just by chance. And then the third episode took way longer than it should have, and included a lot of Brad making an appearance and having conversations, and it's kind of...
I was really surprised about that. I remember I was at the hospital at the time, and then the video came out, and I watched it all just in the hospital. So I was like, there is a lot of me in here. I was really surprised. I find it so interesting, your point of view, how you was like reacting to everything I did, which I thought was just chill and normal, and then you were like panicking.
Yeah.
I had so much fun on the server, and it was great.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories I will cherish forever, but
yeah,
it was so good.
Every time I think back to that time, I'm like, damn. Then we jump into the Motch games, which is my favorite video for all the wrong reasons. First of all, the fact that it is so disorganized. We would be here all day if I wanted to talk about all of it. But with the remastered version, I included every part of every game that I didn't include in the original video, and I'm so happy about that, because it deserved to be 30 minutes long. But the Motch games allowed a couple more people to join. There's Phobos, there's Michael, my brother gets back on for the first time in a while, Cam was there, and Brad. All these people who were never really in a video together, never even on the server together, were all together for the first time. And it was so chaotic, everyone is swearing and angry and excited and pissed off and afraid for their lives. All this stuff happened in the span of 2 hours. That's how chaotic the MotchSMP 2.0 was, and I'm really happy about it actually. I'm proud of myself. I feel pride. The first game was Capture the Carrot. It was Capture the Flag, but with a carrot. And it was jank, obviously. The second game was Parkour, with 3 different dimensions that were different maps, essentially. That was crazy. People couldn't die half the time. The third game was Hot and Cold. It was basically like you just, you spin a wheel, pick a thing in a category that's on that wheel, and if they can guess it with 3 guesses, then they win. but otherwise they lose and it goes to the next team. The next game is Spleef. Spleef was wild. It went really quick. It was like a minute in the video. The final game was the Sweet Escape, aka Splinter Steel, because Michael and Cam, the two finalists, raced to make something in a room that they'd picked out. It turns out that Michael won. He was steamrolling everyone in this competition, but just to make it fair, I had Cam win at the same time so they could do a splitter steal. And then inevitably, Michael steals and Cam splits, and it's so dramatic and nobody's buying it except for me. But at the end of the video, everyone's signing off and it's really exciting. A couple people screamed the whole time. But the server was on like a pretty high point right here. Like we probably could have stopped here and been totally fine, but it wasn't a finale yet. I should have ended it when I had the chance.
My name is Michael Hulala, and my Minecraft username is Michael Hulala.
I have a couple questions that are like general stuff, and then also some questions specific to your experience, because even though you weren't in the server for too long in videos, there was a lot that happened behind the scenes. So, first of all, what were some positive and or negative experiences you had with the MotchSMP?
The whole flick shot thing.
Okay.
That was no fun. People just generally not following the rules, stuff like that. Again, I didn't play enough on the server to have enough opportunities for those negative events and such. I generally had a good time. So you can say positive pretty much any time that there was some sort of community event stuff. The Motch games were really fun. I wiped the floor with that. That was really fun. Building was nice until I logged on the server and then my house wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, that was tough.
But you know, it was okay.
Is there anything you took away from those positive or negative experiences? Anything that like is stuck with you, or is it all just kind of like that happened back then? Nothing's really changed.
I don't really take anything from it. It was just something like, you know how you have that like 2-week Minecraft urge, right? It's like it happens every once in a while. Like you want to play for a little bit, but you don't want to commit. That's kind of what it was. You know, obviously it was nice that I was already starting off with a bunch of shit. I didn't really grow and change as a person really through the experience. Like,
What do you think was your favorite MotchSMP video?
I didn't watch like any of them.
Did you watch any of them, or was it just?
I have them on. They are in the complete bottom of my watch later. I will watch them at some point. If you want, I can get back to you on that. I'll like watch them like, I don't know, this weekend or something.
Because there was a lot that I posted. There was some that Brad posted. I'm just trying to like see if.
I remember I clicked around like the content you made before I joined the server, like because I joined right as you dropped like the fighting 10 Ender Dragon and stuff. That stuff wasn't really interesting. Although generally your editing style in general just doesn't captivate me. And I'm not a Mr. Beast kid, but still it's like, it's just not my taste, and that's fine. It's not for everyone.
Okay. Specifically for you, I know that in your short time, you quickly became the president of the MotchSMP's government at the very end. At the very end, because originally Garrett was president through our crazy convoluted election, and then after a while, towards the end of the server, we were just wrapping stuff up, and that was one of the highlights, was you kind of talking to the people and giving plans for...
That was how we kind of ended it off,
Yeah, reconstructing the server and tearing down the lava casts and kind of just making peace with what happened. I think that was a very meaningful part of the server. I don't want to say too much for those of us watching at home who don't have the scoop on the new server that might be happening. I know that when I posted the last video of the MotchSMP 2.0, I said that there was going to be a second season June of 2025, but I don't know, it's definitely not going to be on the main channel because I don't do gaming as much anymore, but I do have a separate gaming channel where I post mega compilations and clip shows of all kinds of stuff. So if anything, there would be a new server with new people and old people who would be able to play together. I don't think it's going to be called the MotchSMP because I've been doing it for way too long, and I don't know. It feels like, I feel like when someone reads that, they know I'm Mitchell Motch and they hear MotchSMP, they're like, oh, that's kind of vain. It's a server he named it after him. But also, like, that was just inspired by the Dream SMP, and I don't think it needs to be like that anymore. Yeah, it's kind of stinky now. But I think that if anything, it'll just be some server with a lot of people on it who want to make stuff, content, or just create stuff in the game. Because I know there are some small YouTubers like me, like you, like Brad, who do make content semi-consistently, so that'll be an opportunity for that. But otherwise, it's not really going to be as big as the MotchSMP 2.0 was.
Semi-consistently is a generous word. It took me like 5 months to upload a video.
I mean, there was times where I would take like a whole 6 or 7 months before I would upload a video because I didn't have any ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that some evidence has come to my attention about a certain member of my server, and it's not good. The 6th episode involved Brandon. Ditto Brandon, to be specific. And another member named Muticon. Both of these people were suspected of cheating, stealing, killing, all this stuff that we did in a trial, which didn't go very well, because by the end of it, everyone got bored and left. But I did some investigation, some real Sherlock Holmes stuff, and discovered that Brandon was most likely to be cheating. But then, after Brad's video, when he talked about how Muticon was more likely to be cheating because it was his base before it was Brandon's, both of them got banned anyway because we were sick of both of them. They were annoying. Okay, guys, I'm thinking we ban Brandon. Thoughts?
Yeah. He's being a little bitch. Thank you. Can we have his mate?
Finally. And the only person who probably had reservations about it was Brad because Brandon was his friend. That episode was really short for a reason because it wasn't really doing anything for the server besides clarifying who was in the background doing something we weren't supposed to do. And that leads us to the finale. A famous man once said, "All good things come to an end." Who said that? What does that even mean? Doesn't matter. I said it because he said it. So now he was famous, and that basically getting said by two well-known guys. I'm gonna start again. Let's track this from the beginning. The second time in Motch history where a server ended impromptu. A server ended abruptly. And it wasn't even my fault this time. Anyways, Flickshot, as mentioned earlier, was going to be involved in the end of the server.
Mitch?
Flick?
Mitch, we have an issue.
What's the issue?
Come to spawn. What is that?
I do not know what that is. I saw it today. Disasters coming to your world, so it's probably nothing.
It's what do you mean it's probably nothing?
Now, upon hearing that we were going to delay it, I didn't really hear from him after that. He kind of just went under the radar for a while. I never saw him make a video on the MotchSMP, so I thought he was kind of just chilling and probably done with the server. Then, one morning, I log on, and the server is lava casted. Well, basically, somebody griefed the spawn again, and it was one guy this time. It wasn't like a group. It wasn't two people. It was one, and his name was Flickshot. And every build there was destroyed. This was large-scale 2B2T grief. And it made me really sad. But instead of just shutting down the server, impromptu, no explanation like last time, I decided to work with it. And together with Brad, Michael, and a couple others, we built Spawn back to a livable state.
Thank you everybody for coming here today. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really expecting becoming president to be this easy. Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, I know this server's pretty much come to an end, but I really hope that you guys can trust me as a pillar and ambassador of the community. We have a lot of great plans, and come next year when we do this again, I have some good ideas. Should you guys honor me being here still? You know what I mean. Thank you guys so much for choosing me, and yeah, so we're gonna, obviously there's not gonna be anything stupid like taxes. I'm gonna focus a lot on infrastructure. I wanna have some useful things, like a community center where you'd have access to enchantment table, starter resources, fully automated farms. I'm gonna be using that redstone magic to make stuff work. But yeah, I think that's just about it, and I'll take any questions.
What do you think is your #1 priority for the end of the first season of the MotchSMP?
Well, I mean, when it comes to the end, I feel like I've already had such a great experience that I really am satisfied with no matter how this ends. I'd like to end it with a bang, but you know, I think just a nice retrospective of looking at what could have been and what happened. I think that's in and of itself kind of wholesome. So I would say probably my main focus is trying to turn this into something more digestible than just like cobblestone, and then making sure that everyone is protected and happy.
Fantastic. That's all my questions. Now we can continue the demolition of the lava cast. I want to leave that one over there a little bit. I want to have like a little arch and have that be my house. I kind of want my house to be, I want it to have a direct sunrise and sunset visibility, but it's not going to be obstructing it for everybody else. Like it's going to be like.
Gotcha.
The ending of this server still makes me cry. Not just the server itself, the actual video I made, it makes me cry. Can you believe that? A video that I did so well makes me cry. It's like torture for me because I know all those moments were genuine and wholesome and positive. And then it cuts back to the server being griefed. It makes me so sad, man, because I loved both servers. And I was thinking about it the first time I started up the MotchSMP 2.0. Man, I don't think this is going to live up to the first server. The first server was wild. And I was wrong. And I applaud everyone who played on both of these servers because this was insane. This was wild, completely unexpected for both times to be this good. And both of them ended too soon, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I loved when Mitchell hit me up and he was like, do you want to play Minecraft? And I was like, yes, I love Minecraft. I can talk about it all day.
Yeah, it was mainly just positives. I liked how many people like were actually like, online at a time. Yeah. Like there were like multiple days where like we were like there was like I don't know. I think it was like 7 or like even more people online at once. And that was really nice.
If you do something, like I'd probably be down.
Yeah, I usually pick the summer because most of the people on the server aren't out of high school yet. And
That is undoubtedly that is undoubtedly the best time.
I was in a Terraria world with Cam once. It was modded, and I made like a platform arena for fighting bosses you usually do in Terraria, and this man extended it across the entire world.
This just turns into us watching Michael's channel.
Hello, Motch viewers. How are you doing? I don't know if this is gonna make it into the video, but subscribe to Mitchell Motch. Subscribe to me if you really want. If he's that generous to put it in. Yeah, I'd better see you in the new next season, please. This is gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I don't even know, man. I don't even know anymore. Because this video is making me question everything. This server and the server before it were both happening in important points in my life. The first server was happening when I was still navigating middle school. I wasn't sure who I was gonna be. I knew that nobody really liked me. I only had a few friends who I could really trust, and all of them were on this server. That server is still one of the most important events I ever experienced in my life. And so with this second server, the MotchSMP 2.0, it was just as incredible for all completely different reasons. You could nitpick every little detail, the editing on this episode versus this episode, but that's not why we're here. Both servers were a wild ride. And if you're anything like me and you have any investment in these servers, I hope you enjoyed this video. Because if I'm gonna be honest with you, this video broke me. I didn't think I would make it this far. I never thought that a small dream of a kid in 2017, 8 years old, would change a life so immensely. And the culmination of that, my skill, my interest in YouTube, my passion for creating content, was in these servers. And I cannot say how grateful I am, despite the fact that the servers ended abruptly, despite the fact that I'm not on good terms with everyone who played on either of them. I'm still grateful, because these servers changed my life. And that may be dramatic, but it's also true. Despite my sub count not being above 500 subscribers at the time of this video, and despite the fact that I can never get 1,000 watch hours in a year, I am so proud to be on YouTube. And I am so proud for every single one of you watching this video, new or old, who's with me on this journey. Now, if you clocked out 20 minutes ago, you don't really need to hear this. But if you're just as invested, or even the tiniest bit interested in my journey, this is the quintessential video. Because both servers show me, for me. Show me in my most natural state with my friends, the people I love, the people I laugh and cry with, the people who I aspire to be better around. That's what this is about. It's not about the servers. It's not about me. It's about the people. It's about the people who I played with who inspired me to be better. Whew, yeah, I just got chills. So, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, you're gonna have to wait until next month because I'm gonna take a break. I've spent 2 months working on this and it's been all over the place. So if you wanna see more, check out the gaming channel, check out the second channel. I might be posting on there occasionally. But if you enjoyed this long ass video, put the timestamp right now. Where are we in this video? That's insane. You watched all this? That's like watching a whole movie. So I'm proud of you. I applaud you for it. You're actually incredible. And I think you really deserve the recognition. I have nothing else to say. I've been talking into your ear for over an hour. So I think it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for continuing to watch my videos. And if you've been here since day one, I love you. I truly do. And I hope you know how much you mean to me. As always, I will see every single one of you capable, amazing people in the next video. Bye-bye!